Okay, so here on Nerdly, we have friends who are geeks.
Maybe.
No, there's no maybe. We just have friends that are geeks.
Wait, am I maybe a friend or maybe a geek?
You're both.
Oh,
ladies
hi.
and gentlemen,
Yeah,
world famous author Ryan Dunlap. Yay!
Hey, that's only like partially true. But my name is Ryan Dunlap. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, of course, man. So what do you do? What's your thing? What do you do?
I do a lot of things. I call myself a hat rack from time to time. I wear a lot of hats. I have kind of a film background. I've written novels. I like the steampunks.
I like steampunk stuff.
Yeah,
Steampunk stuff is good.
It's good.
Fun. I like the materials that come with it. I like the things that last long periods of time as opposed to things that are just quickly disposable. That's one of the things that draws me to it.
Basically everything in modern day.
Yeah.
Technology. You don't like that?
Not that I don't like it. I just don't like that I have to rebuy it every 2 years. That's,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hence my aversion to Gen 1 Apple Watch.
Just gotta wait it out.
Yep.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
6 months.
So what? So you are. Let's see. You said you're an author. What do you? What have you written?
I've written 2/3 of a steampunk trilogy called The Wind Merchant, which is the Wind Merchant trilogy, and the sequel, The Reclaimer. And I'm currently working on the last book called The Elsewhere Night.
Nice.
To wrap things up.
Nice.
Such ominous titles.
We can get those at where, like Amazon.
Yeah, you can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can request the physical books in just about any bookstore right now.
Awesome. And you actually just released the audiobook of the first one as a podcast.
I did. It was originally part of a Kickstarter, and I spent many hours recording and editing and getting it professionally mixed by some really talented people. And then gave it all out to the Kickstarter backers, and I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure none of my backers downloaded it. And so, you know what?
That's depressing.
Well, yeah. And so, thus, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to let all this effort go to waste. Not to, they could download it whenever they want, but they hadn't yet. Yeah. So I said, you know what? Let's just get it out there. Let's see if people like it and listen to it and see what happens.
Well, I subscribed.
Oh, thank you.
I subscribed to the podcast channel. Collins Lehman doesn't listen to podcasts, even though he produces one.
I listen to a few.
You're backtracking. You're backtracking. Don't backtrack.
Oh, hey.
Well, by the time this comes out, maybe you can in the future have listened to some.
I have mine, but I will definitely be checking out. I will definitely be checking
it's really
out
good.
yours.
It's really good.
For
Actually,
sure.
I have not read the second book. I read the first one. I read the first one, and it's awesome.
Thank you.
Although I've not read very many steampunk style novels. Mm-hmm. Yours is my favorite, and I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. I'm like legitimately saying that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Although again, I've not read very many steampunk. Now, probably the best one that I've read was The Difference Engine.
Okay.
By Bruce Sterling and William Gibson. I was a big fan of The Difference Engine.
I tend to classify it more as adventure fantasy set above the clouds. There's a lot of airships, a lot of steampunk elements, but it's not necessarily like Victorian England.
Oh, see, I can get into that
sort of thing. So
I do like steampunk, but I find with just a few elements and kind of moving out of the Victorian style, I really, really love it. Like kind of more the American early 20th century expressionism,
like Firefly, just not far future.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, there are certain elements I wanted to include. I wanted everybody to travel above the clouds. I love cities above the clouds, kind of Miyazaki influence. And then I was like, well, why would people live above the clouds? Why would there be cities? But that'd be really inefficient. That would be really, if you could just live on the ground, like, well, maybe people can't live on the ground. And so I started doing this whole world building thing based on a few elements that I really liked. And then I realized I accidentally killed a lot of people, made it kind of post-apocalyptic, and that's why only a few people are living above the clouds now. So I really, there's a lot of steampunk. There's a sense of optimism to it that I enjoy. That it's not necessarily as dour as cyberpunk, and that's kind of that's why his name steampunk is offshoot of cyberpunk. But I still want. I'm post-apocalyptic's really big. I think Hunger Games was coming out around when I was writing it, and I was like, I'm going to try to stick away from post-apocalyptic, and then I killed a lot of people accidentally with my world building.
And then I killed everyone.
Yeah.
If I had a nickel for every time I created a post-apocalyptic universe, I swear.
I'd have one nickel.
Yeah.
No, but I can always respect good world building, even when, especially when it takes on a life of its own and it does something like that. Like you said, you didn't intend for a post-apocalyptic universe, but it just kind of happened.
You build your rule sets, and then you have to abide by your laws, or else everybody's going to cry foul.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's you've been world building for what, like 5 years now?
Yeah,
On something?
I've jumped around so much. I have so many different tastes, and now I've finally settled on one thing. And my world building just goes beyond anything I ever intended, and it just gets into the ridiculous, like right down to like particle physics and science and weather and everything with my stuff. It just
You're
gets
doing way too much
detailed.
research. You're not George R.R. Martin, bro.
Oh, thank God I'm not George R.R. Martin. Are you kidding me?
Taking 45 years between novels. Finish book 6, George. You douche. Sorry, that was loud.
There's
I'm
passion.
sore about it, man. I'm
passion.
sore about it.
We all are.
I'm sore.
We just want to experience the winds of
painful.
winter.
It's painful. Okay, so we talked about your books. What do you? Okay, one of the big questions that I had for you was, what are your thoughts on steampunk culture and geek culture, like as it stands now?
Well, I've heard it said that steampunk is when goths discovered brown. But sorry, that's an old joke.
That's very accurate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's pretty accurate.
A lot of people, made the leather for the goth outfits. They said, "Hey, if we could just vary it up a little bit, and we're going to make a killing on this."
We'll do brown and black.
Yeah,
McDouble.
I'm not a huge fan of the whole like let's just glue some gears on it and call it steampunk. That's I like I said, I appreciate the ingenuity and the optimism that comes with it. I like the culture of the technology is basic enough that and every man could figure out how something works and repair it or build it or something like that. And so there was more ingenuity, there was more hands-on elements to that sort of feel, and I enjoy that sort of element. Like I said, I like the the ability to craft things, and I think kind of the maker movement kind of falls in with that a little bit. And I feel like most of the time when there's been a steampunk movie, it's bombed. I mean, Wild Wild West and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Anytime there's been like heavily influenced by it, it just tanks.
Oh yeah,
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That's still a sore spot with me.
I
That comic was phenomenal.
Oh, such high hopes for the whole series.
If you can get Sean Connery to retire from acting, that's saying something.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it has less than 1 star on like Comcast On Demand and iTunes. It has less than 1 star.
Is it okay? Which film, Rabbit Trail? Which film was more poorly rated on Rotten Tomatoes? Do you think, Battlefield Earth or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Well, at least Battlefield Earth had special effects and like some crazy over the top CGI to kind of make it like one of those turn your brain off type films.
But it had John Travolta at the end of his career.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kind of sucked you in the first little bit and got you involved in the characters, and then it just tanked like halfway through, and you're like, oh God, why? I already put in so much time.
But Sean Connery has a better film pedigree than John Travolta, I think.
But Battlefield Earth also has a group of supporters for L. Ron Hubbard's works that might be built in to keep it from being.
L. Ron Hubbard. Let's put it this way.
But it's critics
it's
though,
L. Ron-
Rotten Tomatoes. It's critics though. Audience score or critic score?
No, critic score.
Okay.
Let's put it this way.
That's it's totally critic score.
Okay.
Because if it was audience score, League totally wins as far as I'm concerned. Because it was just a much better film.
Let's just put it this way. L. Ron Hubbard has a church. Sean Connery does not.
There you go. Fair play.
I mean,
So
I'm going to guess that Battlefield Earth has the lower score without looking.
I think I'm gonna have to guess that.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so what you're saying with like the whole, kind of tanking of the steampunk genre in terms of movies, and let's face it, Comic-Con cosplay for steampunk is largely pretty awful.
Yeah, I've been to Dragon Con for a few years, and it's always let's have steampunk. Steampunk becomes the adjective. It's like steampunk Batman or steampunk X-Men or if you just general steampunk. One of my 3 years that I went to Dragon Con, I did dress up. This was actually, I'll be honest, slightly nerdy reason. Like my justification was that I was like, I'm going to go as the Wind Merchant before that's even a book and try to like get an idea of what it would be like to wear this equipment and what usages I would have for it. And I actually changed what I did with the book because of that, because I'm like, I would not carry this around. This would be cumbersome.
Now that
is so not
sounds,
practical.
that's like great world building. I think that's a great tool, honestly. So
Thank you.
props to you for that.
Thank you. I changed some things. I was like, he would collect rare air from here and there, and he'd have these little files. And like, no, he wouldn't. That'd be dumb.
That's stupid.
And so I then changed what wind merchants did, where they were almost like truckers that would basically go out and collect this resource that was on the wind that made the ground beneath the clouds unlivable. And so then they would have to then bring that back to be processed. And so I was like, okay, now I have an economy based out of this, based on. It's stupid to carry a bunch of vials around, but anyway. So, okay, where were we? We were talking about steampunk as an adjective for cosplay. Okay, so I think steampunk works well. I think it's accepted better when it is a element of. Well, you mentioned Firefly. You know, when you have kind of the going back to the Star Wars roots of everything's dusty and dirty and lived in and has to be repaired, and it feels less shiny CGI. You have this world that you can. It's very tactile, and I think the better elements of steampunk have this tactile feel to it. And
It's
so I think
lived in. It's
right.
not,
And everything has a use. It's not just a glue geared onto a freaking top hat. It's, you know,
a gear glued onto a top hat.
what did I say?
You said a glue glued onto a top hat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not a gear glued onto a top hat
Right.
for no reason. That has a purpose. Everything has a use, and that's what I love about steampunk. And everything is exposed.
Yeah, like my books, people would wear goggles on airships just because of the wind force, but then I also wanted, it's like that would be there would be certain technologies that would allow you to see the energy that was, that you're trying to harvest through the goggles, and that's why you would wear them versus not wear.
Yeah.
So like I try to inform the story and the plot and the elements of it from things that would make more sense than just being like, let's glue some gears on it and call it steampunk. And so that's why I hesitate a little bit to call my novel steampunk, but they're definitely very infused, because you have the goggles and the, my main character doesn't even have a gun or a sword, or he has a big wrench that that he got beat up with, and it was presented to him after he won the fight. And so it's,
Well, I
So
mean,
it's just kind of his thing.
Yeah.
it's understandable too. I mean, you've got that horrible steampunk like trauma. Basically, you've Comic Con trauma.
yeah.
Con trauma. Con PTSD. That's
You can only see so many gender swapped Assassin's Creed. And
Hey, I'm just saying.
Jokers
I'm just saying.
before getting.
I'm just saying.
traumatized.
Man Faye. First and best. Have you ever seen Man Faye?
I'm ignorant of this.
Faye, you know Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah.
Faye Valentine.
Uh-huh.
There's this dude, gut, hairy, everything, totally dresses like Faye, and it's awesome.
It's
man.
actually kind of scarring. Like coming from someone, I love Cowboy Bebop and everything, but it actually is just kind of scarring.
All right, I'm gonna find Man Faye.
He kind of looks like a character from Mad Max tried to be a character from Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
So, you also put out a children's book.
I did. It was a children's book that was in the world of the Wind Merchant that a talented illustrator friend of mine named Amber Heslip was wanting to continue on in her career with illustration. And as I was working on the second book, I said, if I have the story already fleshed out. It's within the world. It'd be fun to have something that, Oh, and you pulled up Man Faye.
There you go.
That's-
the joy of Man Faye.
He's owning that.
Totally owning it.
He also just kind of looks like a really scary fitness instructor.
I could see that.
Now,
So-
what was the children's book called? Because I'm
it
actually
was-
ignorant.
It was called The Littlest Clockwork.
It was really cute. I
That
love the
sounds- that
artwork
sounds
and
amazing.
everything.
Thank you.
I think I actually remember you showing me that.
Yes,
and
I
then-
showed it to you.
Yeah, and then I just am so busy and have like 50 million things going on in my mind that I never took the time to get into it. But I'm actually excited to check this out.
Thank you.
It's like Kickstarter fatigue when you go through so many Kickstarters and you forget the ones that you really like fall through the cracks a little bit.
No, it's really true. I've given to like 10 Kickstarters in the last year, and now I don't even remember all the stuff. I'll
You
just
get
something in
emails
the
and you're
mail.
like, "Oh crap!
Is
yeah,
it
I forgot
like
about that."
what do they call it? Drunk Christmas when it shows up? And you're like,
Exactly.
Did I back this? Oh yeah, that was like 3 years ago, and it finally arrived.
when I get a box coming with over 120 Reaper miniature statues and
Oh, yeah.
like 50 paints and everything, I'm gonna be like, what the crap? Why
Where did
what
this
did
come
I
from?
Oh, now I remember.
The sad part is with him is that it's not Drunk Christmas. It's I mean, he does
It's
it.
legit.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Kickstarter junkie myself. I've backed well over 100 campaigns, and so by law of like that's all my disposable income. Is just because I like that you can directly support creatives and not necessarily have to go through a middleman. And that's one of the reasons why the book series I get to retain a lot of control. I don't have to wait for 2 years for it to come out, and then it is I don't know. I've some ties to the publishing industry and know that while traditional publishing works great for a lot of people, the industry's changing, and it's kind of tough to be a mid-level author, and that's why a lot of them are moving to self-publishing. And there's a lot of or independent publishing, I guess a lot of people are calling it, because I've never picked up a book and said like, oh, this was published by XYZ, I'm going to read. There are some good like Tor.
It's not like it's not like record labels. Where it's like, oh, hey, Tooth and Nail Records, they've got
Like
a
all these
great
bands
track
on Tooth and
record.
Nail.
If they're on there, I'll probably like them. It's not like that. With
You don't look at Hyperion Books and go, oh man, they have a great track record, which they do with the Percy Jackson series.
Random
but-
House. I love those guys.
Well, I mean, it's all you're essentially, at least the way I build my queue of what I'm going to read is I take friend recommendations, because a lot of times
Oh, for sure.
if I want to spend 5 to 20 hours consuming this piece of, I want to know it's going to be good.
Yeah,
before
totally.
I jump in on it. And so obviously review sites and Goodreads and things like that are important, but more so if the quality is there and it has been recommended to me, that's more than what the little label is on the.
Well, it's like we were talking before, before we did the interview here, that I'm currently reading Seven Eves by Neil Stephenson, and after that, I'm moving on to Ready Player One, Armada, and The Martian. And you just finished The Martian.
Last night.
And when I saw that pop up on my Facebook feed, I was like, oh, well, if Ryan read it, then it must be good. Because, I mean, you do have good, I feel like you have good taste in
I
books.
appreciate that.
And, that I was already interested in it, but that just solidified it for me. And now I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to move The Martian up above Ready Player One.
Read Ready Player One. I would recommend.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as much as I enjoy The Martian, knowing you, the 80s nostalgia of Ready Player One, you're gonna like that.
Is it a lot better than that horrendous abortion of a film called Pixels? As far as 80s nostalgia goes?
I think anything is better than that.
What'd that have, like a 16% of Rotten Tomatoes?
Something.
Yeah.
It's just everybody's just calling for Adam Sandler's like complete and utter career destruction.
No,
as of this
Ready
point.
Player One's actually going to be, I believe, and I hope I don't have any references here, I think it's getting directed by Steven Spielberg.
Is it really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it got picked up.
Oh snap! I knew it got. I knew it got optioned for film. I just didn't know who was going to be working on it.
I'm hoping that maybe we can delete this off the podcast if it's wrong. But no, I'm pretty sure it's Spielberg.
If it's not Spielberg, then I will kill you.
Oh, okay. Well,
I won't be able to because I don't know where you live, but I will be very upset and know that you might get a strongly worded letter from me.
Okay. Could you wait until after I finish the last book of the trilogy? Because I really left the second book on a cliffhanger.
That's fine. You can,
and you
can
might get
finish
hunted
it.
down by those people, and that's just
It's
sadness.
endless
That's all
cycle
right,
and-
because I'm sure I'm going to guzzle
I
your
won't
two
kill
books
you.
in like
I won't kill
3
you.
days, and then I'm going to freak out about whatever the third book
I love
holds
you,
in store.
Ryan. I won't kill you.
Oh, thank you. I've warned people that maybe wait until the third book comes out before you read the second book, so you don't get angry at me. I'm not going to leave any spoilers out there.
I can deal with cliffhangers.
I'm okay with it. I mean, I've read all the Song of Ice and Fire books in 1 year. I think I can deal with cliffhangers.
Maybe I just don't want all the pressure on me to be like, okay, Ryan, finish up the third book.
No, you're
Where
good.
you left? Okay.
No, you're good.
It's more like positive.
You have
encouragement.
life happening.
I do have
It's
life
okay.
happening, yes.
It's okay. Congratulations on your second child. By the way.
Thank you. She's Poppy. She'll
Little
be-
Poppy.
I will pray for your soul.
Thank you. Yeah,
Poppy.
I got 2 daughters. Well, that's one thing. It's like I
know the girl feels.
to take this into a slightly from an artistic standpoint not versus family, but like one thing that I've learned from having children introduced in my life, like up to that point, it was all like, what can I create? Where's what legacy? Even not really even a legacy, but what can I create that will live on? And then you realize like, oh, once kids enter the picture, like what I have to be working on has to be valuable enough that it justifies taking time away from my family.
Exactly.
And so that's an extra like bar of, I need to make sure that this is good. Because otherwise if I'm just writing schlock, I'm going to look back at those years and be like, oh, I don't really remember when they were toddlers. That was sad. Okay, and now I have this book that nobody read. Oh, I'm making solid life choices.
Well, and even just from an unmarried, childless standpoint, thank God I'm only 19. It would also it seems like it would also kind of help your writing as well, because it would kind of give you a new perspective on character personalities, motivations. You know, if you're writing a fatherly character, you'll be able to take your point of view and really make that character three-dimensional in a way that someone like me possibly could not. And so it being a father, it seems, really would give you kind of a new light.
Yeah, they say write what you know, and as things hit you so different. Like I just saw Inside Out, the Pixar
Oh
film.
yes,
Yeah.
And there are just certain scenes that, like, the one daughter we do have right now that is out and about in the world is almost 2, and so like when they have all these memories of this little toddler running around in pigtails, I'm like, oh, you're just ripping my heart out.
Feels.
seriously.
It was like the first time we saw, first time my wife and I saw Monsters Inc. after our daughter was born. And, you hit the very end and she's like, kitty. And you're like, oh my God, Disney, you suck.
I don't even have kids, but me and my girlfriend Emily were sitting in the theater watching Inside Out, and towards the end, it was when everything just kind of hits, and it was just spoiler free, yes, but we all know everything hits the fan at the end of movies,
Of course.
But when it all comes to a head, it's just such a wonderful picture, and even as someone who doesn't have kids, it still broke me down, because you still view it, from her perspective. You still, view it through her eyes, and it was still just a wonderful, wonderful film.
Yeah, like I just played The Last of Us.
Oh yes.
I'm kind of a laggard on video games, but
I am too. It's okay.
Oh yes.
But I was like, I really feel like I probably should have played this before I had a child, because I had that opportunity and I wasted it, and then all of a sudden all the feels were just...
It just destroys you, doesn't it?
From like the opening 10 minutes, it's like...
Okay, I'm potentially going to destroy our friendship here, but what system?
I'm a PlayStation 3.
I mean,
That's what
Last
I
of
know.
Us
PS3?
is...
Yeah.
Okay.
Last of Us
Oh,
is
yeah,
an
it is.
exclusive.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Come on, John.
I'm sorry. It's been
Naughty
a
Dog.
long...
He was trying to find if I had these
week.
special secret access of
It's
some extra...
Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog doesn't stoop so low as to make Xbox games. All right?
This is true.
I feel like I should back away slowly here.
No, it's all right. It's all right. You're among
I own a Vita,
friends.
okay? I own a Vita.
Okay.
I have
have a
no
4.
dog in the console wars
Okay.
fight, all right?
I
I
have a
prefer
4, so
PlayStation,
I'm
but
okay.
I have no dog in this console fight. We're actually going to be working on an article, Xbox versus PS4 versus Steam.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm a PlayStation guy from the Final Fantasy days.
Oh, good
Oh,
call.
yeah.
So
Good call.
that's the legacy that I'm on. And
Okay.
Okay,
so
Final
somewhat-
Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I'm excited about it. It looks like a lot of driving around.
Which is a whole lot better than running, like in Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 12.
Now I will say, like, Final Fantasy 8. I know 7's like the go-to, but like I love 8, and and I will say that, like, a lot of the airship stuff I did pull for my own stuff, but I went back. I bought it again on the PlayStation Store and played, downloaded it. And I started playing. I was like, oh right, random battles that
Yep.
Oh, and here's 4 more minutes out of my day. And so the
Final
time that I
Fantasy
had
10 was kind of the same way.
as a kid in high school or middle school or whenever I played it, I had more time then, and nowadays it's like grinding and leveling up and all that. There is an app right now that I'm playing that has hit the nostalgia sweet spot for me. It's the Final Fantasy Record Keeper. They're not paying me to say this.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little Final Fantasy. You're restoring the memories from each of the various games, and you can recruit characters from all the different games to put in your party to play
Really?
through any of the different scenarios, and so it's fun. I enjoyed it.
It's
You get
awesome.
bonuses for playing
Now-
Final Fantasy 8 characters on Final Fantasy 8 levels, things like that.
Now, real quick, is this a freemium isn't free type game? Or?
I have only ever spent 99 cents on it because I really wanted Squall's Gunblade, and I didn't
Okay.
get it within the
Well.
window. So, but yeah, it's freemium, but it's I've only ever spent $1 on it and been playing for maybe 2 months now.
Okay,
Nice.
very nice. Now, okay, one more quick rabbit trail. The big news at E3 that everyone was freaking out about, including me, but I'm more of a Final Fantasy X kind of guy. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
What do you think? I mean, it's not just they taking Final Fantasy and putting it on the PS4.
Right.
It's a full remake of the game. I mean,
I'm going to lose a few geek points here.
Oh, no.
I was on my birthday, way back when, I was given both Final Fantasy 7 and 8 for PlayStation 1. I chose 8. And sometimes when you play a game and you try to go back to the predecessor and the graphics aren't as good and you've been told it's great, but it's hard to get through. And so because I have not played all the way through Final Fantasy 7, now I love like Advent Children. I love all the stuff they did with that. I thought there's some epic battles, which that whole movie was an excuse for epic battles, but
The whole movie was awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
but this is an opportunity for me to play it with updated graphics, and so I'm excited about it, just because I have not played all the way through the original.
It's been years since I've played it, so I'm really excited for it.
I actually, right before I sold a kid my PS3 to get my 4, like we traded our systems, and right before I traded, I actually got Final Fantasy 7 on my 3 and was playing it, and I was like, oh man, this is great and everything, but I really, really want some updated graphics. I really want a full Final Fantasy game and set in this world, and finally it has come true, and it's great. Like I said, I'm more of a Final Fantasy 10 guy, though. So
Yeah.
I played 10 and 10-2, and, well, most of 12. Didn't actually finish 12.
Yeah, I was never a big fan of 12.
13 was good as well, but Lightning Returns,
The
I couldn't do.
13 trilogy was okay. I played all the way through the first one, halfway through the second one, and Wikipedia'd the rest.
Yeah, sounds
I mean,
about right.
it's
Yeah, got to find out what...
Did you see the World of Final Fantasy trailer
No.
from E3? Oh, dude, you got to check that out.
I have homework now.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll pull it up when we're done.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you got to check it out. It kind of brings Final Fantasy back to like kids.
Okay.
Being able to play it from a young age to an old age.
Nice.
And it looks really cool. Little chibi sprites and multiple characters from all the universe. And
I remember
they all
seeing
come
chibis
together.
for the first time and wondering what on earth it like. I think.
Yep.
Well, I think Bebop was my first
was
anime,
it?
and
Yeah.
so like whenever they would didn't they occasionally like go to chibi form, or was that or their faces? Their faces would be very simplified for a moment. I was
yeah.
like, what is this? Because I think Bebop's. I know there are more adult animes out there, but this was not necessarily for kids. But like whenever their face anyway, it was
I think
it was
the
Last
first.
Exile
I think
was
my
something like
first experience with a chibi style was Tenchi Muyo or Tenchi Universe. One of those two.
I don't
That's a
even
great
remember
anime.
what mine was. I mean, my first anime was Rurouni Kenshin on
Okay, there were chibis in
Tsunami.
Kenshin. There were chibis in
It might have
Kenshin.
been. That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh no!
though. I
Wait!
didn't
My
know.
first was Sailor Moon, and I am not afraid to admit that. I'm not ashamed of it. I love Sailor Moon. Gosh darn it! But the uncensored Japanese subbed version, you cannot have the American dubs. Although I guess now technically you can because they've gone back and redone it. But they changed so much that literally just like changed the plot line in order to make it like okay for tiny little girls getting ready for school at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they changed so much of it, and it sucked. But it's uncensored now, officially, because they realized how many adults like the show.
Samurai X will always hold a special place in my heart. So
Okay, yeah, you said Last Exile.
Yeah, I like Last Exile. I like that a lot of animes are completed. I mean, I obviously I enjoy shows that go on and you get to love the characters, but like when you have 26 episodes and you've done it and that's it, and you have this one arc of a story, not like we're just gonna keep going and maybe we'll see where the story winds up. Like they
Kind
have
of like
a plan.
Naruto or something.
or One Piece, which is on like 600 episodes or something.
Inuyasha
It's much
hit
more
like,
approachable when you know that there's a finite number and you're done. The story will
Yeah.
be done and you can enjoy it or maybe watch it again. But
Yeah.
The Last Exile, again, another influence that I drew from mine just for all the a couple different factions fighting. That's also kind of made its way into my book. And
so it's a big influence, but is it your favorite?
no, I really enjoy it, but I'd probably say Bebop just because it was the first one. I still have more nostalgia for it, and
Yeah.
it's fun.
Gotcha.
Kenshin and probably Full Metal Alchemist would be my two favorites.
Well, I just did an article about this on Nerdly.net,
That's true. Yeah.
so we all know what my favorites are.
And I'm talking about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood because that was an actual faithful recreation of the
yes.
manga, not the 2003 series, which
Not
was
the,
good.
Not
but
the bastardized version from 2003.
Yeah, but I will say this: Conqueror Shambhala, still a fantastic movie.
Oh yeah, Sacred Star of Melos was terrible. In comparison.
But then again, I also love the kind of the alt history. I mean, I'm reading 3 books right now, and they're all alternate history. 2 of them are World War One.
Turtle Dove?
Yeah, 2 of them are Turtle Dove, and another is a collaboration with Turtle Dove and another author, who I actually can't remember right now. But Shambhala, I loved the Nazi Germany tie-in with the series, because obviously that's what it was kind of based on in the first place.
Well, it wasn't really Nazi Germany. It was post World War One. It was like in between.
Well, yeah.
So it wasn't like the National Socialist Workers Party had actually started yet, and they get foiled.
No. In the series, like in the actual series, kind of Amestris was kind of based around that time, post World War One, World War II era.
I love hearing you talk about this stuff.
What?
I feel like I'm at a tennis match. I'm going and watching back and forth and back and forth.
Look, I mean, it's just really cool to see anime Hitler try to take over, a beer hall in Munich and fail. It's just kind of cool.
If I had a nickel.
Anime Hitler.
Okay, Ryan, thank you.
And on that note,
okay, no, seriously though, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. It was good.
Seriously,
it was good talking to you. And okay, so pretty much anywhere books are sold, we can find your crap. Subscribe to the Win Merchant podcast. You can get a free audiobook version, which is pretty sweet. Now, is it a like an audio drama, or is it just straight you reading the book?
I do all the voices myself. I wound up reading it. And so, you can...
Like voices?
I got into character. I have an acting background.
Real
I've
quick,
been in films,
do you do like the mechanical sounds as well? Will we hear you doing like the plane sounds and everything?
There are times when people speak through filtered helmets, and I'll talk. I mean, I didn't exactly do it that way, but it's a little bit more understandable in the audiobook.
You didn't pull a first cut Tom Hardy from Dark Knight Rises.
Ooh.
No, I did not. Don't you understand? That's, by the way, that's a fun game that I play with my daughter. We call it Daddy Bane. I'm like, hey, Clementine, have you been eating your vegetables today?
Where's Bat Dad? Bat Dad?
Yeah, she and then she puts her hands over her mouth and go no. And I'm like, oh, it's Bane baby.
Bane baby.
Yeah.
That's great.
Or my last flight home, they're like, "Hey, paging passenger Bane." I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna be an interesting flight." Okay. Anyway, sorry.
No, but it was
you were kind of giving me the crook to pull me off stage here, and I'm like, "Let's talk about Bane."
No. That you just gave me the greatest thing ever.
That's perfect.
I'm gonna call you. I don't know what I'm gonna call you. Something Bane. I got to figure out.
Okay. All right.
But no, it was
You're in my
actually
phone
really
as
good
Bane
because this
now.
is the first time I've ever met you. I mean,
Okay.
I know we've been Facebook friends for a while and everything, but meeting
it's
you, being able to
hilarious.
talk about your work and everything is great, actually. So this has been a great opportunity, and I think great first interview.
I think so.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it'll only go up from here.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean,
If it goes down, it's because of us, not you.
Okay.
So
or that African witch doctor I pissed off that time, but
that's a story for another day.
either way.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you,
I
man.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, seriously.
Always good to see you.